Hello! Check out this beautiful, elegant Sony ZV-1F. I've been using this camera to shoot street photography and some vlog kind of video for a while. Today I'm going to show you my camera settings. These settings reflect my personal preference and shooting style, so feel free to use your own judgment on whether they'll work for you. Some disclaimer, these settings aren't about achieving the highest quality result, but about enhancing your user experience. Once you get used to them, you'll be able to control this camera as it is a part of your body. In that way, you can focus more on capturing moments rather than fiddling with the camera. And that is our main goal right here. We need to focus on the stuff in front of camera, not camera itself. So let's bring out your camera and dive into these boring but very important details together. First, I'm going to format my camera so we can start fresh, just like a brand new camera straight out of the box. You can give your camera some gentle massage to help speed up the loading time. Once you're in, after pick a language, you can skip the connection to your phone since the app isn't really useful. Next, set your region and time. Make sure to set the right date and time so you have the correct information on your photo after. Set the auto power off temperature to high. This increases the tolerance of camera's heat before it overheats and shuts down by itself. And here we are in the camera. By default, the camera is in video recording mode. You can switch mode using this button. Photo, video, and S and Q. Switch it to your photo mode. If you're already familiar with the exposure triangle, the first thing you need to do is change the camera to manual mode instead of using auto mode. Go to a menu, select the red tab, shooting mode, and change the shooting mode from intelligent mode to manual. And now we can manually adjust our shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. Personally, I don't like the extra things on the side, as you can easily access them in the quick menu with a button. We need to save all the precious space on this small screen, so we are going to get rid of it. Also, if you swipe up on the screen, the quick menu will pop out, which you can also access using the physical button right beside it. However, the swipe out quick menu function can be annoying if you accidentally touch it while shooting, as it might change your setting without you even realizing it. So to prevent this from happening, we are going to turn this off as well. Go to menu, select the yellow tab, touch operation, icon touch function, switch it off, and turn swipe up open FN menu to off as well. So now you can use the physical button to access quick menu and your screens now looks even cleaner. When you touch the screen, you'll see a little square tracking your selected object. This comes in handy if you have an obvious object to track with. But for my shooting style, I prefer to use touch to focus instead of touch tracking, because most of the time I don't know my object in advance. Touch to focus works best for me as I can use it to quickly change the focus on different subjects. It is more reliable when it comes to capture natural and authentic moments. So I'm going to change that to touch focus. Go into menu, yellow tab, touch operation, touch function in shooting, and change it from touch tracking to touch focus. So now you can touch the screen and focus your subject instead of tracking. Did you hear that beep when you half press the shutter? That beep and the fake shutter sound are horrible in my opinion. I'll turn this off as well. Go to menu, yellow tab, number 8, sound option, turn off audio signal. I'm changing the focus mode to sport mode M because I'm using this focus mode 90% of the time. Press the physical button FN so you can access to the quick menu. And then go to focus area, change it to sport mode M. Now we are going to change some useless button to something that actually can help you to get better shooting experience and be more efficient. Let's go to yellow tab, number 3, operation customize, and go to video custom key setting. The first custom key is trash bin, which is originally set to product showcase. This function allows you to focus on whatever is closer to the lens, but it's not as useful as it sounds since you can simply switch your focus area to achieve the same result using quick menu. So I'm swiping this button to exposure compensation. This allows camera to adjust the brightness to whichever exposure you set when using auto ISO. Sometimes I'll use auto ISO and set the exposure compensation to 0.3 or 0.7, especially when there's too many potential good subjects around, like for example when you're in a busy street. So you can worry less about exposure and focus more on what's important for you. Next, we are looking at the button on the top, C1. It is originally set to background defocus, which you can achieve the same result by lowering your aperture anyway. So I will switch this button to focus mode. This allows me to switch to manual focus in 2 clicks. Some of you might wonder why don't I set it to AF/MF toggle, since it can allow me to switch in between autofocus and manual focus in just 1 click. The reason is simple, because this camera doesn't show the AF and MF function on the screen like other Sony camera does. So this shortcut key can also help me to check my focus mode quickly before I decide to switch. The middle button isn't set to anything, and I'll assign it to focus standard. Most of the time I'll use spot focus, so I can either tap the screen to change the focus point or use the focus standard button to toggle the focus box. You might wondering, why don't I just tap the screen to focus? Because sometimes your other hand might not be accessible, so one hand focus control can be really handy. Also, when you are in manual focus, you can press this middle button to zoom in and focus. Since the camera doesn't have a focus ring on the lens, you can only manually focus using the wheel, which is slow, but this is the only way to adjust the focus manually. Lastly, we are going to change the left button. It was set to self-timer by default, but you can easily access the self-timer in quick menu as well. So I will change the left button to monitor brightness. I find myself using monitor brightness a lot when switching between environments, and it allows me to easily adjust my screen brightness to low in dark environment and high in sunny conditions. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed that the left custom key isn't working as it should. You need to go to the photo custom key setting and change the left button to follow custom video for this custom key to work. Finally, let's switch to S&Q mode. S&Q stands for quick and slow. Slow and quick. This mode allows you to capture and play back slow motion or fast forward videos directly in the camera. Personally, I will set this mode for time lapse. Go to setting, the red tab, select S&Q settings. Set the recording frame rate to 25 and the frame rate to 1 FPS. This way, whenever you need a time lapse, you can simply switch to S&Q mode. This is my first video about camera settings on this channel. I try my very best to make everything easy to understand and follow. But please let me know if you have any suggestions for improvement, so I can create a better video for you next time. And I genuinely hope you found something useful in this video. Happy shooting, I'll see you next time. Bye!